by Sandeep on Bipin Singh. The Blasters, don't forget, have only scored one goal this season. Victor Bertamu getting that goal, the man who's now suspended for 3 matches.
I think this is a test of character as well for a lot of these Kerala Blasters players. You've got Danish in there, you've got Kevin York, who's at the moment hasn't got too many touches on the ball. Experienced players like Sandeep, Aiban, Naucha, all of them now have to show why they're a part of this big club. Can they take responsibility and get Kerala Blasters back into this game?
Vishnu, Miguel. Just swing that one across again, it hits Vivin. Has he had such a good grounding in India at Mumbai City as assistant coach? Sol Crespo. There's a Jarre, just a little bit too high. Finally gets the header. Does well to guide it out to Mohamed Rakib. Little back heel. Nicely done by Edmund. Buys himself a bit of time. Sol Crespo trying to play that one inside Nayarcha, but fullback ready well on that occasion. Referee will just pull that one back. There was a little block in there from Edmund, I think, or maybe Jigson, that just stopped Kerala breaking forward.
That's very intelligent from Jigson, making sure that Achal doesn't get past him. The whole East Bengal backline was very high, and Kerala Blasters could have hurt East Bengal on that counter.
The last time Kerala won here, in fact the only time Kerala have won here, came back in 2023 when Daisuke Sakai and Dimidio Mantakos scored. Clayton Silver missed a late penalty, then scored one in the 99th minute, but Blasters held on for the win. It was a difficult place to come, of course, to get a result here in Kolkata. Nice header down from Kevin Yoke, just out of the reach of Nayarcha though. So Crespo trying to feed that into Ezajari, well read by Hormipam.
That's twice now. Mark from Saul Crespo trying to play that through ball. Got intercepted. Just has to get the weight of the pass right. We know he's also coming back from an injury, a bit consistent game time as well for him, but being one of the leaders of the squad, he needs to make sure that he's always 100% available and locked in or focused per se to make sure that East Bengal stay at winning ways. Because if they do win, as you can see, that they go all the way up to third position.
They have played, or will have played a game more than those teams around them, but it is having the points on the board that any coach will tell you matters. You worry about those games in hand when you need to. Here's Adsal, runs into Anwar Ali. Solid challenge by Anwar, gets it back from Bipin. Danish Farooq. Ebin Das. Out towards Kevin Yoke. Mohamed Rakib though read it well with a header.
They've been trying to find Kevin Yoke on those cross-field balls a number of times, as Rakib done well. Every time that ball's tried to go towards him, he's tried and made sure he intercepts it.
It's nicely forward by Kevin Yoke to Nayarcha. Couldn't manage to get any height on the cross. Just went in behind everybody really. Vibin with a chance to keep things alive. Ebin Das. Just too much on it for Sandeep. But you just feel, and watching the other guys at Kerala Blasters this season, they're just missing that cutting edge. They're missing that creativity that Luna or Asadari was bringing them last season. And you just wonder where that little spark of inspiration is going to come from.
I think they also need that bit of maturity, Mark, in the middle across their team, because
shorter end. Danny across. Miguel, who was at Basundra Kings. Naocha to Kevin Yoke, who's pressed all the way by Mohamed Raki. Slight miss controlled by Naocha and gives the ball away with a throw. And just those little errors, those little mistakes made by players just can often cost you, particularly rather when you give the ball away in a dangerous area. Same it again towards Bipin.
That's well defended also from Kerala Blasters, Mark, but you're absolutely right. These little things might just cost you the game. Kevin York and Nauch are trying to play that ball out under pressure. They need to be a little more aware that sometimes take no risks, just clear out your lines, making sure you can push up, put the pressure back on East Bengal, keep it away from your goal.
To Bipin, it had to have a bit of pace on it to take it away from Sandeep. Some matching hairstyles over on the far side as well, Bipin and Sandeep. There's Bipin again, there's Ajari trying to get in front of It's back out to Sol Crespo, who got right underneath it, but it's another opportunity for East Bengal and another good build-up from Oscar Bruce on side.
Dangerous build-up. Rashid finds Bipin, who does ever so well to turn in the box, and Hormi just doing enough. Hormi Palm just doing enough to make sure that Yusuf doesn't get a good touch on it, and then Saul Crespo could not keep his body over it. Otherwise, East Bengal would have been two for the good.
Doesn't score many, Sol Crespo. Only the one last season against Mohammedan. Miguel strong in the challenge. Needs to stay on his feet with Ajsal. The pressure. Basim Rashid thought that should have been his ball, but Harish Kundu disagrees. 50 appearances for Palestine, Mohammed Basim Rashid. There's Naocha. Good looking ball in. Well, arriving at pace was Ajsal, but couldn't keep the shot down. But that's probably the Blasters' best chance that they've created so far. Bit of quality into the box. Ajsal couldn't keep the shot down.
That's very good from Kerala Blasters, keeping it simple. Anwar running towards his own goal. Always difficult for a defender to defend those balls. And then Ajsal just does get ahead of Anwar, but just could not keep it on target. But as I said, Mark, earlier, Mohammad Ajsal, young talent at Kerala Blasters. He's got the pace, he's got that never say die attitude, and he'll always try to make those half chances his own. But that's good work back from Kerala Blasters, keeping it simple, getting it inside the box and making sure that the striker gets at the end of things.
Kansal, who came through the Blasters youth, he was born in Kozhikode. Talks that Kerala might play their home games there for a while before they did settle on Kochi. Well, there's no touching McLaren at the moment, although Esijari's moved to within two. Jamie McLaren, who scored 4 last week, of course, against Odisha, will be in action a little bit later on. Esijari might not be finished for tonight yet either.
He'll surely look at this game, Mark, and think that he wants to get as close to Jamie McLaren as he can. And he has the opportunity as well, but in the previous game also we saw Esijari missing a few chances. We want to make sure that he's clinical in front of goal tonight if he wants to chase down Jamie McLaren, who looks like he's picked up from where he left last season.
Yeah, it's been a very good start. Scored 5 in the last 2 matches. Began. Bengaluru will to do something about that a little bit later on at the Sri Kantirava. It's our second match for you after the conclusion of this opening game. East Bengal lead by a goal to 0. Esijari's penalty separating the sides. They've got a corner here which Bipin will swing over. might be able to break away. There's a little bit of pace around in this side. Ebin Das. Just flicked off Bippy. Just took enough of the pace off that to slow it down a bit. Sandin. Danish Farouk. Cleared away by Vishnu. Falu. Nice, clever little back heel to Iban Doling. Danish. 10 minutes that opening goal came. Neocha.
Another quick attack from Kerala Blasters. East Bengal doing well, especially Bipin, who had taken the set piece, then goes across and also defends that long ball that almost got intercepted by him.
Ebin Das. Trying to play that inside the fullback once again. Just too much on it. It was the right idea, just that the execution letting Kerala down, but they're looking to get Sandit forward on occasions here. Down the outside of Vishnu, playing in a slightly unfamiliar position for him.
Definitely, Mark, when you look at the lineup for East Bengal, you do seem to have Vishnu in a point of uncertainty, playing as a fullback. And Sandeep on that overlapping runs has to do better and make sure he gets at the end of that, because you can clearly see him asking for the ball, but just a little late to react to that ball that came in from Ebin Das.
I suppose the question is as well, Vishnu is obviously there not just to be a fullback but to play a better role as well, because Jay Gupta's on the bench, who we know, even though many will think he's a centre-back, he played at left-back for FC Goa for a couple of seasons to have his breakthrough time, but not picked ahead of Vishnu tonight.
I think it's also a great competition. Jay, probably a season or two ago, must have thought that he's breaking into Indian football. FC had a good season at FC Goa. East Bengal comes calling. Thought of playing well, thought that that position is his, but you know, Vishnu coming in, Oscar Bruzon as well, just letting him know that you're going to compete just like that. But Miguel trying to compete for the ball, just wins a free kick. Competition all around, Mark, but I just feel Jay Gupta has to produce more, be it at centre back or be it at full back, because you've got Anwar and Jeekson playing as a centre back, and Jeekson's more of a centre midfielder rather than a centre back, so Jay Gupta needs to be making sure he can get that position, if not full back.
Basim Rashid trying to split the two defenders, looking for Ezejare. That just ran away from him though. Ebin Das. Another youngster from the Kerala pipeline. Played his youth football, Ebin Das, for Goklam Kerala for their under-16s. So many young players have been produced by the Blasters over the years. Here he is again, Ebin Das. 58% of the ball has been with East Bengal. Falu fires that one out to Kevin Yoku. Brought it under control nicely, gets away from Edmund, now taking on Mohamed Rakib. Fires the ball across. Prabhsukhan Gill gathers in, but we mentioned earlier on, if Kevin Yoke gets the ball, he can do things with it. Fired that one in just too close to the goalkeeper.
That's very well done from Kevin Yoke. On that occasion, Atsal just a little far behind, and Prabhsukhan Gill making sure that even when he comes out to collect it, it sticks to him. He gathers it very well. But that's what Kevin York can do. You need to get him more on the ball. At the moment, a lot of the attacks are coming from the right side for Kerala Blasters. I think it needs to get a little more balanced.
When you look at Kerala's results and numbers from the time they came into the ISL, every season has been a gradual progression for them. They won just 3 games in their first season. Second season, there was just a single win, but ever since it's been a steady climb, and 8 victories last season was the most they've won in a single campaign. Things certainly turned for them once Oscar Bruzon came in October.
I think think rightly so, Mark. You were speaking about Kerala Blasters, and you said how they've got this progression in front of them. But it's also about consistently showing that, in my opinion, Mark. You've spoken about how Kerala Blasters has always been a pipeline. In a season of uncertainties, I think it was also an opportunity for all of those players to step up. You had Azhar and Ayman, who we've always spoken about of when will they break into the first 11, and this season you've seen them move away from the club. Wibin as well, we've spoken so much about him. He needs to now take responsibility.
Sandeep, Danish Farouk going on ahead. Oh, goalkeeper missed it. Nobody close enough behind to get a touch. Put away for the corner.
Danish Farouk on that occasion with the overlapping run from the inside. David York just thought that ball might just be gathered or cleared. Just a little late to react, but luckily for Kerala Blasters, they have a corner now. Hopefully, the likes of Falu can now show his aerial prowess and get Kerala Blasters back into this game.
What can Kerala do from the set piece? Evan Das will take it. Nice deep one, just pushed away. Falu was the man that was coming in on that, the tallest man on the field. Sadly pushing away, Hormipam. The whistle's gone for the foul. David Katala again not happy with one or two of the decisions from Harish Kundu tonight, but I'm sure he saw a little push there.
Dangerous delivery whipped in. Falu, as we thought, would have been the target at that far post. Sandeep just using too much of his arms for the referee's liking. The foul's been given, luckily for East Bengal. We've seen those kind of fouls not given, Mark, so I think East Bengal's rather lucky as well that Harish Kundu and his staff blow the whistle then on.
It's just got enough on it to reach Harsh Singh in the Kerala goal. Sandeep. Ivan. Falu. Is Jarry constantly pressing and trying to force Kerala backwards. Vibin. Looking for Sandeep, well cut out by Vishnu. Stab back to Miguel by Bipin. Edmund the intended target. Hormipam's there again with a header. Ebindas. Some movement up ahead of him. Kevin Yoke trying to make himself available. Gives it straight back to Mohamed Rakib. Now Sol Crespo.
You can see Mark, Kevin Yoke's a clever player, but sometimes it just feels like the rest of his team are not on the same wavelength as him. Clever ball to just play that ball through Rakib or Edmund's feet between their legs at that point of time. But now they're just not aware or ready for that ball.
Miguel on the chase, gets there ahead of Falu. That's the shot in, but couldn't get the target. Falu just did enough to make sure that Miguel couldn't get a clean strike on that. It's a long ball over the top. Good defending though by the new man.
Good work. East Bengal asking questions again of the Kerala defense. This time Miguel getting a touch right before Falu. But just a little off balance, Miguel, before he could get that shot off with Falu pressing down on him.
I think it might have come off his knee actually, just seemed to pop up. It is the drinks break anyway. In the first half, East Bengal leading by a goal to nil. There's Jarry's penalty. Question of whether it was a penalty. Harish Kundu certainly thought it was. There weren't too many appeals. There's Jarry was the only one really who appealed after Ivan's challenge.
Edmund does the right thing, whips that ball in quickly. Yeah, when you keep looking at the visuals, it does seem like Iban's caught Ezajare caught between his legs with the sliding tackle, and then Ezajare making no mistakes from the penalty spot. Both the players not getting the ball, don't get me wrong, but I think it was just Iban's trailing legs that caught Ezajare for Harish Kundu to give that penalty.
Was Ezajare offside when Edmund played that ball across?
I looked at that as well. It seemed offside.
He looked to me like he was certainly the wrong side of the defender. I mean, we saw it in slow motion in full speed. It's very difficult, but if you're slowing that down for something like a VAR, then you're going to go, hang on a second, that looks offside. So in the end, then it negates the penalty appeal.
Yeah, unfortunately, so there's no VAR, but with the luxury that me and you have, Mark, on those replays, he looked a tad bit offside for sure.
Well, it's immaterial because the goal stands. There's Ajare's fifth of the season. That's almost a poor ball out. Evin Das made the most of it, just span away from Sol Crespo. Looking for Neocha, who just got there first. Mohamed Rakib got a touch on it. Prabhsha Kangel was quickly off his line. Former Blaster, of course. Prabhsha Kangel played 40 matches for the Kerala Blasters in his time there. So Crespo claiming that should be a foul. Does get a bit of treatment in midfield. Sol Crespo is one of those tricky players. A lot of these Spanish players, we saw it with Javier Hernandez and various other Spaniards, always drawing the fouls because players just can't get the ball from them.
Asking questions of the defenders till the last moment.
Sol Crespo was offside initially, came back on, let it run, tried to play it back to Edmund who slipped, but again that might have been slightly controversial if it had led to something. But Sol Crespo cleverly let the ball run, realising it was an offside position.
That's well done from Sol Crespo, trying to be a lot more clever again, just trying to play back Edmund into the position or just the open space, but Edmund somewhere knew that he was in offside position as well.
Kevin Yoke looking to tease Rakib. Still going, did well Rakib though. Got his body in the way and winding the crowd up once again. Another ex-Kerala player.
Tricky customer, Kevin York, but Rakib doing ever so well to make sure he can get his body between man and ball to on his side a goal kick, and that's very well done from Rakib.
Well, he played for Paris Saint-Germain's B team for a couple of years, Kevin Yoke, so clearly had a talent when he was a little bit younger. Hasn't really gone on to fulfill that promise when you look at the list of clubs, as you say, predominantly played his football in Greece. He has the ability to make things happen. We saw that in the opening game against Mohun Bagan. He came on and caused a few problems for that Mohun Bagan defence. Not resting on him, he needs to step up here to try and get the Blasters back into the game. Hormipam. Oh, just clipped by Miguel.
Going back to your point about Kevin York, Mark, even when you said earlier, after we have a look at this foul, Miguel just trying to win that ball, but clipping Hormipam enough for the referee to blow his whistle. But yeah, going back to Kevin York, we said in his earlier years, but then again, he's just 29, so he should be playing at his peak.
Maybe the Blasters can get the best out of him. They certainly need someone to perform. Evin Das, again Danish Farouk there, who was in an offside position, opted not to bring himself into play. That will be a foul this time by Mohamed Rakib. This is a dangerous position. If they can come up with a good delivery, they've got the tall Fallow to come forward.
Kevin York again, clever customer this time. Edmund being sold a Cruyff turn, one of my favourite turns. Or the only turn, Mark.
I was just about to say, you have to remind me when you did that, because yeah, doesn't instantly stick in the mind.
It was Arnab Mondal that got sold one of those. It's a highlighted picture as well.
Free kick will have to be taken again.
Sold a few defenders in my own with that for the national team and in the ISL.
You were that clever, you sold a few teammates as well, didn't you?
Yeah, a few times in training. Took them for a ride and said, see ya.
Harris Kundu just explaining why he stopped the play. It always goes on. Just play on, and if it's a foul, it's a foul. Give it whichever way you see it as a foul. Vibin with the free kick. No height on it once again. It's not dealt with by the East Bengal defence. Now though, Danish Farouk had the ball taken away from him. Vipin hits the back of Miguel. One back by Vibin. Can Kerala get back into this before half-time? Out to Sandip, little bit of space. Sol Crespo goes out, tries to fire that one in first time. Danish Farouk with a header, looping but didn't quite dip. Tried to head it back where it came from, which was a good thing to do because Prabshukan would have been stranded, but it's just too high.
That's good work again. Kerala Blasters applying the pressure, keeping it there. Danish Farouk on that occasion does ever so well. Does the right thing as well, sending it back to the way it came from. Just could not loop it back down into that corner against Prabshukan Gill, who was absolutely left stranded if that went in.
Did score just the one goal last season. That was in the 2-1 defeat to East Bengal here at the VYBK. Like a push on Ezra Jerry that the referee chose to ignore that time. It's gone all the way back to our singing goal.
It's not going to be easy to beat Falu in the aerial battles as Ajare, plus he's got help Falu from his teammates as well, as we saw on that occasion, just making sure as Ajare does not challenge that ball against Falu.
Yeah, that one defeat for East Bengal so far coming against Jamshedpur after they'd taken the lead in that game. But Stephen Eze and that stunning goal from Reita Shikawa giving the victory to Owen Coyle's side, who still have their 100% record intact. They play North East United tomorrow. So they'll be hoping that Bengaluru can do them a favour tonight when they take on Bengal in the second game. Ormipam threading that through the defenders, just too much on it though for Ajsal to get on the end of.
Good idea with that deceiving pass, showing everybody that he's going to play it on the outside and just trying to find Ajsal with that ball along the floor. That's good work. But even Northeast in action tomorrow are still looking for their first win. They've got 3 draws and a loss this season. Still looking for the first win, so it's not going to be easy for Northeast either, so they'll have to make sure that tomorrow is the day where they can probably and hopefully get their first win.
Now, of course, the longer the run goes on, the more confidence drops, and in such a short season. And of course, nobody really wants to think about the R word, which has been added into the equation, of course, this season. Whoever finishes bottom will drop down to the Indian Football League. Here's Ivan. Avidas, rather. East Bengal finally stopped the rot, if you remember last season, a 0-0 draw with Mohammedan before they won 2 games in a row against North East and Chennai. Danish Farouk foul by Amar Ali.
Credit and very well done to Danish on the first touch to make sure he can get the ball under his control. And making sure after that Anwar Ali could not get a touch to it. But they should have whipped that ball in.
Kevin Young playing it forward. Ajsal knew he was offside. He was waiting for Nayocha. He was trying to tell him, I can't touch it, I'm going to be offside. And Nayocha wasn't quite on the same wavelength. And the flag did eventually go up.
That's a clever ball from Kevin York, but just slightly offside. Lucky that Vipin wasn't playing him onside. But Ajsal needs to just be aware, just look over his shoulders. I know he likes playing on the last man's back, on the last defender's line, but just needs to be aware of his positioning a little more.
away by Prabhshik and Gill. Pam helps it back to his goalkeeper. Well, there haven't been too many chances at either end, really, when you consider the possession that East Bengal have had more than Kerala. Had that one shot from Sol Crespo which went over the top, a header from Danish which looped over at the other end, but it hasn't been a game that's been laden with too many clear-cut chances for either side.
Not at all. Both the teams have had probably a couple of shots, 3 at the max, but only East Bengal has been able to keep one on target, which was the penalty spot. So apart from that, Kerala have done well to keep Zajari and East Bengal quiet and win these niggling fouls in a very attacking position.
Danish Farouk on the ground again. Just a little coming together with Bipin that time. Free kick's already been taken. Vishnu. And what? Here's Miguel. Looking for the run of Bipin. Now he goes off one of those trademark darting runs, trying to get the better of Iban. Just too much on it though. Gathered by Army Singh. Kevin Das. Kevin Yoke. He's lively when he's had the ball on a couple of occasions, Kevin Yoke, but probably hasn't seen as much of the ball as he would have liked. Ivan. Forward to Sandeep. Good covering again from Vishnu.
Sandeep again on the overlap. Mark does well. He's been quite lively down that channel, Mark, trying to get up and down, making sure he can whip crosses in. I think Kevin York now needs to understand that if the attacks are coming from the right, let's just help Utsal and be that second striker when those balls get whipped in.
Just the second corner for the Blasters. Falu! Just wide. That's what he's there for. It was a perfect delivery for him as well. He caught the header really well, but just wide of the target. What a chance that was for the Blasters to get level before half-time.
Biggest chance. Falu gets some space in the box as well. Blocks coming in from his teammates. Should have scored on that occasion. Even maybe David Katala was just off his seat, on the edge of his seat, that Falu just brought them on level terms. And what a time it would have been to bring Kerala Blasters to level terms just before half-time.
Prabhshik and Gill could only watch it as it went wide. Pam's header. Miguel. Bipin. Miguel just took a knock. Just slowly getting back to his feet. He'll be okay though. Here's Mohamed Rakib. Anwar Ali. Miguel. Vishnu. Bipin outside him, but Sandeep making sure that he hasn't got too much space to do any damage out there. Basim Rashid. Edmund. Everybody back behind the ball for the Blasters. Sol Crespo. Miguel, just too close to Neocha, who gets a foot in. 2 minutes added time.
Nothing much to separate them, Mark. Even the ball possession, sort of similar. Shots, pretty much the same. Just that one goal separating the two teams.
I'm sure East Bengal know that one goal won't be enough. And Kerala have shown with that header a moment or so ago that it is a fragile lead at 1-0. As their 2 wins came by some distance, 3-0 over North East United and 4-1 over Sporting Club Delhi. Jerry hasn't had too much service apart from the ball in that led to the first goal after the foul by Iban Doli. Kevin Yoke just runs out of play from the header.
only shot mark that Ezajar has had at the moment is the penalty shot, penalty kick. Apart from that, I'm just looking at the numbers that he's produced in the first 45 minutes. He's been kept pretty silent.
He's got a few goals wherever he's been as a Jarry. He was in Singapore earlier this season with Tanjong Pagar. Scored 5 goals in 6 games in the Singapore League. Here's Vishnu. Now Bipin. He's again happy to go back to Sol Crespo. Basim Rashid. Miguel. Lovely ball. Basim Rashid trying to beat our Sheikh at his near post, but just wide of the target. But it's another lovely move. Great movement off the ball from East Bengal to find those little pockets of space as the half-time whistle goes.
She's just trying to be clever enough to sell Arshid the dummy of that I'm going to cross it, and then tries to go for goal himself. Just could not keep it on target, but that was the last shot of the first half.
Well, it's been a workmanlike performance for East Bengal, who got themselves in front. They've had to do well to contain the Kerala Blasters, who had that good chance from Fallow towards half-time. At the break, though, it's East Bengal 1, Kerala Blasters 0.
आप हो गए भाई, आपको देखते रहना, थोड़ा देर बाद हो जाएगा। 10 मिनट कितना हो गया टाइम? 50 हो रहा है, 5:50 तो 6 बज में हो जाएगा। आप लाइव में रहना भाई, लाइक कर दो भाई। नेक्स्ट वाला गेम भी मैं लाइव कर दूंगा। मोहन बगन और बेंगलोर है ना, वो वाला भी मैं लाइव कर दूंगा। चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दो भाई, सब्सक्राइब करके रख दो। Hah? Bagus. Komen penyam dari. Penyam dari komen. Namanya di bukan next वाला वीडियो ये lagi subscribe तो करते हैं चलाता है ना penyam dari kan live तो चलाता ना है ini paling dorongnya chat datangnya ya kayak apa masih saya kepikiran kalau
Just a slender lead for East Bengal after the first 45 minutes. Ezejere's penalty enough to separate the difference between them and the Kerala Blasters, who are still looking for their first win and just a second goal this season.
highlight है भाई highlight
Well,
देखो
East Bengal back at home looking for a third win of the season after slipping up and dropping points in their last two matches. But it was Kerala Blasters who started on the front foot, that one just hitting Danish Farouk. But this was the talking point in the first half. Iban's foul and Ezejere leading to a penalty.
I think that's a clear penalty, Mark. When I look at it over and over again, Iban diving in for the tackle, not being able to get the ball, and then Ezejere making sure that he converts from the spot, giving East Bengal the slender lead. But you rightly mentioned Kerala Blasters started on the front foot, especially this time. Atsal running onto the ball, crossed in by Nauja, had the power but lacked the direction. Kevin York, who's been found sporadically on occasions, but every time he's got the ball, he's looked dangerous for Kerala Blasters. And on that occasion, the cross getting cut out by from Sukhan Gill. But he's been dangerous every time he's been on the ball, Mark.
Yeah, showed a good deal of promise. Rakip has handled him well, though, at times, but that occasion he did get the ball across. That was Miguel bursting forward, the ball just popping up and just caught him off the knee in the end to go wide of the target. Sandeep's put plenty of balls into the box. Danish Farouk tried to loop that one into the top corner, but it just went over the top. And then this was the best chance, Robin. Falu's header just before half-time going just wide.
Probably the headers being the best opportunity for Kerala Blasters. Danish, Farouk first, and then Falu on the set piece. Great set piece routine with blocks coming in from his teammates, but just could not keep it on target.
Well, there's not too much in it in terms of the stats. East Bengal obviously having more of the ball, but both sides with 4 attempts at goal. Just that one on target for East Bengal. Well, here's that incident again. Maybe a question mark as to whether Ezejere is offside just there. But obviously in real time, Robin, it's a bit quicker. But as you say, Iban can't be going in like that in the 6-yard box.
Not at all. When I look at it again, and you can see when he rolls over, that's probably what Harish Kundu is seeing, that Iban's missed the ball completely. Ezejere hasn't got a touch to it, and his trailing leg is just on top of Ezejere. So Harish Kundu doing really well to give that penalty.
Second penalty of the season for Ezejere. Only 5 touches though, apart from that, which as a striker you would expect a little bit more service from your teammates if you're looking for more goals here. But he does close to within 2 of Jamie McLaren now in the race for the Golden Boot. McLaren have scored 4 goals in that game against Odisha last week. Well, Danish Farouk is back in the side for Kerala Blasters, wearing the captain's armband, and he's put himself around a bit in midfield, breaking play up and doing what he can, but he's fighting a bit of a lone battle at the moment.
Always a fighter, always the hardest worker on the pitch, and tonight's no different. Could have probably just not aware that that ball's going to come through to him, but in the middle of the park he's trying ever so well to get his team back into the game, especially with this header. He came so close, just could not keep it on target. But the engine room for Kerala Blasters, Danish, has had a decent first half with a cross coming in, recovering the ball, and also being in and around available for passing and touching and moving. His accuracy has also been brilliant.
Yeah, Natchez had a busy job tonight as well at full-back, looking to keep Edmund and co quiet in the corner.
Probably one of the only mistakes he made, Mark, on that occasion with the throw-in, but that delivery that got whipped in for Atsal. He's been doing well, keeping Edmund as quiet as he can, making sure he's got no space to operate, and closing him down very quickly now, chap. especially with that scare in the first few minutes where we thought he could have pulled the muscle. He's done well with the interceptions, the touches, the carries. He's also been one of the standout performers for Kerala Blasters.
And it's his 48th ISL appearance tonight for Nayocha. This is what's available to the coaches in the second half. Only 6 outfield players on the bench for the Blasters tonight. Marlon and Jay Katongo are amongst them, as is Nihal Sadish. More experience on that East Bengal bench. Second half coming next.
Ming galing coil dia akor jadi inya yen cek lagi ekkai man kita hap na ina re inggo ting lei kama ye dam nyal me ar ayu khai nyal kan ta kam otak kiding or otak ho foto ni kidara kana cek kidin cek dam
minta उन्हें ये मॉडर्न रिसेट तरीnya amar echil gala hakta reset में ado to jinis हम reset chaba keda ये कोई फोटो दो होरदा
cek
ona ये rena
ina time do kare na adi din rin iyo pa
ये थोर ona को मता है kan इधर की चुं
ukare tahe kana
ona मोबाइल रे फोटो दो होता है kan
inya mobile do tahe kana ate reset
ठीक बा ama मोबाइल kiri kate ima reset ka
hande na orak ring
ade iya to kan node echil kate nyagu ka ima ka bojma
to ado tahale na to iyo kata ima hande nya reset ka
atam to be ko reset ka
bain bada ona da gidera hai malik
am mari jok na
inyo ka imbade reset ko sida apa cakap dia anak nu
Ini cek ke dia lata cek
ko ke nomor
mungkin bade
una laga kana
jema jema ka jema kate jam leda ko se punya leda
mobile do cek kana do foto doho kata cek ona all doho ko hajar wala
Google Pixel ठीक है Google Pixel kenal bana lah
jema na ba punya leda ai man kita salah
ये तो कैमरा
स्टार्ट होने वाला है भाई यार कितना टाइम हो गया हाँ और 2 मिनट 2-3 मिनट nyal ko dir na nanda mana ba time mo bada yem bang ar hana ha ko nyala next wala mohan bagan ar yem na Bengalore हम लाए का ना
कोई नहीं
वैसे प्रॉब्लम है रियल निकल गया भाई यार
Well, those fans will be happy with the first half performance, but they'll be expecting some more goals and probably a slightly better attacking performance from their side in the second half. 4 shots, 1 on target. East Bengal looking to go third in the Indian Super League table, and those fans that have lived in the shadow, of course, of Mohun Bagan for so long, hoping that they can close the gap tonight. And then what would make an even better Saturday for them was to see Bengaluru get something against the Mariners in our second game a little bit later on. But Kerala still have a chance to get back into this. They had a couple of chances in that first half. Danny Farooq heading over, Falu heading just wide. So this one, Robin, is far from over in the second half.
Absolutely, Mark. A one-goal lead is never enough, and the way Kerala Blasters have been playing, they seem to be inching closer. Falu with the header, almost getting on target. Danish Farooq with his header almost on target. Atsal with an opportunity as well. Wibin and also Ebin pulling strings in the middle of the park. So Kerala Blasters have shown us sparks that they can be threatening, but those sparks have to turn into a real fire against the torchbearers of East Bengal.
Saul Crespo back after missing the last 3 matches, after picking up an injury in training. The crowd has got a little bit busy. It was the early kick-off today, of course, 5 p.m. local time. Harish Kundu, the man who had that big decision to make with a penalty in the first half. Ezejari scored from it, his 5th goal of the season. Doesn't look like there are any changes at half-time. David Catalia, who's only got 6 outfield players on the bench tonight. There's a bit of experience there for Oscar Bruzon, the likes of Jay Gupta, Suvik Chakrabarti, who's come on in every game so far, Mahesh and Nanda Kumar as well. So options on the bench for Oscar Bruzon. Harish Kundu gets us underway then. Kerala Blasters in a change strip of all white tonight. Can they get back into this? Can they get something from the game? Pointless, don't forget, after their first 4 matches, they've never lost 5 in a row in the Indian Super League. Saul Crespo struggling to get the ball away here, East Bengal, but it will run in their favour. Just wonder whether we'll see similar in the second half. Probably we mentioned at half-time there Sandip and the amount of times he was getting forward, and Naocha as well. We saw him go forward on a couple of occasions. They've tried to use the Blasters as Bipin gets forward for East Bengal.
Bipin on that occasion, Mark trying to use all his pace to get ahead of his defender and whip that cross in, but Kerala Blasters doing well again to just cancel out that cross. Ezejari was present in the box, but you were speaking about Sandeep at halftime, but like you rightly mentioned, I think they need more of the same, and at some point, even with 6 outfield players present on this Kerala Blasters brain time, I'm sure we can see Nihal Sadesh and Jay Kutango coming at some point.
Bipin and Edmund have swapped sides. That's a lovely ball in from Vishnu, just curling away from our shaking goal. Always talks a good game, Oscar Bruzon. We heard him beforehand, knew how tough this would be, as did his. But like I said, they've trained hard, they work hard in the week, doing everything they can, the Blasters particularly, to put this right. East Bengal know that they can't afford to let too many points drop this season. 4 points dropped in their last 2 matches against Jamshedpur and Goa.
It is season so short, Mark. Everything matters, every foul matters, every point matters. Kevin York on that occasion winning that foul, but you rightly said so, yes. Even Oscar Bruzon talks a good game. Wants to get back to winning ways in a season when it's short. Every little thing matters, the points, the tackles, the passes.
There is Naocha getting forward again. Not a great ball, hooked away by Jeekson. Kevin York trying to take Bipin with him. Jeekson's header away again. Falu just got across before Ezejari could get onto that loose ball. That's given away clumsily at the back by the Blasters. Ezejari, Bipin racing to get through the middle. Bobbling around, Bipin goes out off Falu for the corner, and you can see questions being asked of those defenders for the Blasters, just getting in each other's way, and a little bit of a misunderstanding between those in white.
Right before, I was just about to say there seems to be an understanding building between the defense line and Fowler, who's just come in, and then Harsh goes on and plays that missed pass. But they've done well. Apart from that mistake, the defense line has done well to just be around each other, communicate, and make sure that Asajare doesn't get at the end of things. And hopefully they can deal with this corner together as well.
Bipin to swing this one over, away by Danish Farouk. Only as far as Basim Rashid. Miguel. Lovely ball time, he's run well. Bipin, he's got 4 to aim for. Can't miss out Neocha though. Miguel to keep this alive. Has he got some quality? No, he hasn't. It's Neocha that's there again. Just can't miss out the first man at the moment with these crosses.
A lot of bodies present in the box for Kerala Blasters. But East Bengal just need to hang that ball maybe towards the far post.
Keep. Sol Crespo. Better ball in, just turning away though, just too much on it. And Morali trying to get on the end of it. Savik Chakrabarti will be coming on in a moment to replace Sol Crespo. Maybe the feeling was to get 50 minutes out of him coming back from injury. Prabhashik can Gill quickly out of his goal once again.
That's also good rotation from Oscar Bruzon, making sure that the squad's rotated. Nobody tires out too much. Feeling of cramps can be protected, and injury scares, especially in the season so short. You need those high levels of energy.
Miguel. Basim Rashid. Jare let it run. I'm sure he intended to let it run. Sol Crespo goes down. Harris Kundu saw nothing wrong with the challenge. Damage for Rig. So he'll just spin away from him. Mohamed Raki. Jackson. Basim Rashid. Knew the challenge was about to come from Vibin. A bit of composure on the ball about East Bengal. Here's Sol Crespo. Could be his last action in the game. Mohamed Raki. Patient this. Sol Crespo. Take the pace of the game and just almost slow it down to walking pace at the moment. East Bengal.
I think that just means, Mark, that Kerala Blasters need to find a way through them. Maybe a substitution will be helpful, because 51 minutes on the clock, the energy level is slightly dropping. You could already see Oscar Bruzon making changes. I think David Katala will be looking to make a few changes of his own, and by the looks of it, he needs an attacker or two to get past this East Bengal side.
To play around the referee there as well. East Bengal, but they still have possession. Edmund. Not too sure whether he was onside. Fallu certainly felt that he was off, but what's a chance for Esajare? You don't ask questions. You just finish and then see what happens after that. But I think the flag stayed down.
Big opportunity for Esajare, but I think the flag would have gone up, Mark. The referee just keeping it down, knowing that the ball's gone out for a goal kick. Follow asking the questions as well. Seemed offside though.
Sol Crespo goes off. Savik Chakrabarti comes on, who made his 150th ISL appearance in the second match against Sporting Delhi. Sol Crespo, good to see him back into the team, and probably Oscar Bruzon's intention was to give him around about 50 minutes tonight to just ease him back into things. Savik will just sit in that position that's become so synonymous with him over the years in the ISL. Has come on in all 4 games now. There's Neocha. That's him behind everybody. Vishnu's diving header. Hormipam. Now Kevin Yoke. Ebin Das. Ajsal. Kevin Yoke again, trying to tease and turn Bipin. Might have a ring for the cross now. Again, just a poor cross into the box. We've seen it from both teams now. Good positions, but unable to find a teammate in the middle. Kevin Yoke has it back again. Kept it on the deck this time. Cut out by Basim Rashid. Suvik Chakravarti. Now it's Ajari with possibly a bit of space to work in. Good ball stabbed down the line for Miguel. It's Ajari racing to get through the middle. Just brushes Nayochi aside. Miguel. The shot himself. Here comes Mohamed Rakib. Miguel. Was he brought down? Referee plays the advantage. They might have had the free kick there. Basim Rashid though, still alive. Edmund. Nicely done. Chance for Vishnu to get the ball across. And eventually it's headed over the top, but a spell of pressure by East Bengal, but they just didn't seem to want to shoot or try and get a shot on goal.
East Bengal just moving it from side to side, from one end to the other. Edmund holding that ball up for Vishnu, who finally crosses it in. And Holmi Palm, as much as he clears it, I think he's been a bit deceived by the pace of it. Could have headed it back or just probably done more with it, but gone towards the corner at the moment for East Bengal to whip it in and cause some more problems towards the Kerala Blasters side.
They're certainly dominating possession, the home team. It is Miguel who goes for the outswinger, headed away as far as Basim Rashid. Rakib. Edmund. Hadn't tricked himself there, Miguel. Edmund. Looking for Bipin. Iban gets across though. You see Bipin was crying for that ball to be played a little bit earlier on, but Iban did well, just got his body across.
Second time of asking, Bipin had to check his run. And Iban, at the end of it, getting the better of Bipin to make sure that the ball just goes out for a goal kick. But again, you can see that East Bengal are trying to find ways to break this down and get another goal and a bit of breathing space between Kerala Blasters and East Bengal. Kerala Blasters have seemed threatening again, especially from the wing where Kevin York's been attacking.
It's given away again, just spun away from Azajari, who just had a hand on Holmi Pam. Free kick's been taken quickly. Ebin Das. Sandip. Still the same scoreline as it has been since the 10th minute. Sandip, won back by Miguel, working hard to get goal side again. Back by Vishnu to Prabhsukhan Gill. Wasn't much to choose between these sides when they first met in the ISL. Of course, the first 4 meetings came in the bubble in Goa back in the 2020-21 season. 3 1-all draws the first 3 games. It's Kevin Yoke. Too much on it again. Easy for Prabhsukhan Gill.
Got to give credit to Prabhsukhan Gill's positioning, Mark. Every time that ball's been played through, he's always been aware, always been ready, trying to cut that out and win the ball back for East Bengal. Similarly so on the last occasion as well.
Basim Rashid. Lovely ball, just a little nonchalant stroke to make that pass to Edmund. Overlapping run from Vishnu, well read by Falu. Danish Farouk, just beaten to it by Basim Rashid though.
Needs to be quicker, Mark. That ball, very well won by Falu. Danish has to do more. You've got East Bengal defenders and players out of position. You've just dragged Rashid out of the middle of the park as well. He needed to continue that counter-attack.
just wonder if Kerala are going to think about making changes soon. You just saw a moment or so ago discussions on the bench. Certainly got to make an attacking changes, you would feel. There's Rakib. Civic. Anwar Ali. Miguel. He was fouled, but nothing given. Danish Farouk. Aishal. Sandeep. Oh, Anwar went to ground early. Krafsik is quickly off his line again, though. Anwar Ali got away with that a little bit. Went to ground, didn't make contact, but he just forced Sandeep to push the ball a little bit too far ahead of himself.
Good overlapping run from Sandeep coming in again. That touch just a little too away from his body. Krafsik doing ever so well to just come out and gather that. We spoke about his positioning earlier, but Anwar Ali was quite lucky not to have caught Sandeep on that occasion. Otherwise, he could have gone into the referee's book.
Oh, Sheikh at the other end, equally quick off his line. Approaching the hour mark, still not too many chances to speak about. This is Miguel. Civic Chakrabarti. Footed by Basim Rashid. Jay Katongo is preparing to come on. The Blasters are going to make that attacking change. Lovely ball over the top again for Vishnu, but again just a little bit too much on it. How many times have we seen that tonight? Good ideas, balls over the top, but just slightly overhit.
Good ideas. Definitely the ball being overhit. That's where probably East Bengal have to do better. Find that final pass, find the weight of the pass to hurt some teams.
Ivan. Rashid just got there before Danish, who ended up colliding with his own player. He said, you can't give a foul because it's your own player you collided with. Lovely ball through, looking for Bipin again. That one just lacking the pace on it. Here's Edmund to keep things alive for East Bengal. Referee just going to bring things back. And the home fans don't like it. They're on an attack there. Miguel was in a position where he might have been able to get that ball across, but you see, Asjar was the player that was just feeling the challenge a little bit.
Just the lack of communication on that occasion, on that attack. Kerala Blast are trying to get the ball under their control. Danish Farouk fighting for the ball. But probably Harish Kundu only stopping the game because it seemed like a head injury to Atsan. He seems to be okay at the moment.
Basim Rashid. Miguel. Edmund. Vishnu. That's given away cheaply. Danish Farouk. Edmund looking to get back and trying to turn for his error. Anwar Ali, though, sticks out a long leg to get there ahead of Aishal. Cheekson. Now Mohammed Rakib. Civic Chakrabarti. Again, just slowing things down to their own pace, East Bengal at the moment. Miguel. Vishnu. To run again, and you can hear the groans from the crowd.
maybe they know, East Bengal fans somewhere, that this one goal lead isn't enough. Kerala Blasters seem to be threatening on occasions, and with probably an attacking change or two coming through, they could be in trouble.
Shaying around in the penalty area. Sandeep. Naiban. Vibin. Basim Rashid stuck out a leg to win the ball back. Miguel. Now there might be a chance for East Bengal to break out of defence. Good strong run from Miguel. He's got Pippin with him. No foul again, says Harish Kundu. Says it was a good tackle. Miguel's not convinced. It came from behind. From Hormipam. Jay Gupta is waiting to come on. Offside. Time against Adsal.
Seemed like Adsal had made a good run, but just could not keep himself on side. But at the moment, you got Jay Gupta also coming on. You got Jay Kutango also ready.
Jay Gupta comes on. Edmund it is that's gone off, Vibin going off, and Jay Katongo coming on. Made his debut against Interkashi as a late sub. Played one under-21 game for Scotland back in his early career, Jay Katongo. Another player though, still only 28 years of age, you feel. These are the years that you're going to make a name for yourself. Now is it. Good ball over the top. Here is Jay in on goal. Good ball. Adsal only needed to help that on its way. It was a lovely ball across from the substitute with his first touch. Still the pressure's on. Put it away by Rakib. There's a player down again. The referee stopping play with Kerala looking to go forward this time, but what a chance that was for Adsal.
Jay Kutango coming on and proving dangerous, gets that ball in, but Jay Gupta doing just enough to nudge Adsal away from the ball so he can't get a touch on it. But that was probably the opportunity that Kerala Blasters were looking for. In the meantime, as Ajare seems to have hurt himself, the referee stopping the game so he could receive treatment. But again, Mark, like, yes, that's a head injury. The ball's in Kerala Blasters' control. And now, Ajare has to wait outside while Kerala Blasters with fresh legs have the ball in play. Hopefully, they do have it in play.
The usual uncontested drop ball these days, of course, to restart things.
The ball wasn't even there.
I thought the ball was in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. Or with Hormipam, who had just controlled it.
Didn't seem too many complaints from Kerala. Jeekson. Rakib. Ezajari. Bipin. Nice little give and go with Ezajari. They need to race into the middle though. It's a deflection of Hormipam once again for another corner to East Bengal.
Lucky enough to win a corner. Pippin for East Bengal because there was nobody inside that box. Players, even if they were on rushing, I just don't see them getting at the end of that with the pace that Pippin whips those balls in. Should have just controlled that and continued the attack, pulling it back, finding Ezajari to his feet at the edge of the box instead. But nonetheless, East Bengal have a corner. Kerala Blaster have to find a way to deal with it.
Miguel plays it out to Basim Rashid. That wasn't too far away. Thumbs up, it was obviously something they worked on, but he caught it brilliantly, Basim Rashid. And that would have been one of the goals of the season had it gone in.
Wow, great technique on it, was dipping as well, and luckily for our Sheikh, it's dipping and curling away from his goal, but what a goal if it would have been if it was on target.
Everybody was expecting the ball into the middle. That's what good routines often do. Came to nothing though. East Bengal still lead by a goal to nil. Ezijere's penalty in the 10th minute. Sandeep. Iban. Hormipam. Kevin Yoke. Top of the shoulder once again, Archer. Floated again towards Sandeep. Good header for him. Iban diving in again. Who needs to be careful? He was yellow carded in the first half. It's a free kick to East Bengal.
Both players, eyes on the ball. Iban lucky. So Jay Gupta didn't get a step on him. Jay Gupta was also just come in, who wanted to leave a mark.
Ball had gone out of play, I think. Maybe a throw to Kerala. Well, they're still in this at 1-0. The Blasters, we said that at half-time, but only half chances really, haven't really threatened Prabhsuk and Gill's goal. That ball in from Jay Katonga a moment or so ago that almost found Ajsal in the middle. Falu. Just trying to get there. Ibn Das was a little bit fortunate.
Just getting blocked off by Jackson on that run for the through ball.
Actually kept it in play, but almost gave it straight to Bipin. Got away with that. Got away with that a bit, the Blasters. Never lost 5 in a row in the Indian Super League. Ibn Das. We've got 20 minutes left to try and salvage something from a trip to the Salt Lake. Easily cut out by Mohamed Rakib. Bipin. Basim Rashid, who's really controlled that central midfield area tonight for the Red and Gold Brigade. Jay Gupta. Basim Rashid. Urging him forward. They want a second goal. They're not happy with one. Rakib. Suvik Chakrabarti. Now Amar Ali. Almost. Sandeep just had a leg. He was aimed in towards where Vishnu was heading.
I think the fans just want a sense of urgency, Mark. They know a 1-goal lead. Maybe if it's enough today, a game tomorrow, it will never be enough against stronger oppositions teams that have found momentum this season. And that's surely what East Bengal should do. Yes, 3 points is 3 points, but a 1-goal lead is never enough. Not enough breathing space either, just in case teams decide to maybe concede a goal like East Bengal probably can concede a goal on occasions.
Well, East Bengal play their Kolkata neighbours, Mohammedan Sporting, next, before a trip to Chennai. Kerala back at home against Punjab. Still got one more game to go before the international break. Of course, next weekend after match week 6, we do have a break for the internationals. And Morali with a touch of cramp.
Ali, Vishnu, both present for the ball. Sandeep applying the pressure again, Mark, on that occasion. But yeah, I think 72 minutes on the clock. He's been tested enough to be tired. You wouldn't expect somebody with the fitness levels of Anwar Ali to be tired, but this clearly shows that how quick the league is. Even with changing temperatures now in India, it seems to be affecting the players as well.
Yeah, of course, and there was no pre-season to speak of as well, which I think when you get this kind of scenario, you appreciate the value of an intense pre-season as well. Obviously, we all hope next season we go back to the more familiar scenario. Hopefully the indecision will be taken away and we get a full season again. But in this short season, it's a strain on the players as well as everybody else. There's Basim Rashid. Long again, it's a perfect ball for Bipin. Looking to take on Neocha. He's done well so far, Neocha, in a defensive sense. Bipin forced back towards his own goal. Mohamed Rakib arriving. Chakrabarti, Basim Rashid. Fires that one again, looking for Vishnu, I think. Ezejari trying to put that back line under pressure. Away by Iban, only as far as Jay Gupta. Now Jeekson. Miguel. Good defending again. Still they can't get the ball clear though, it's coming right back at them. Basim Rashid rides a challenge. Ezejari. Oh, it's another poor touch. Neocha again. Looking to try and play that one in for Kevin Yoke, but Jeekson had recovered his position.
I think that's where Caleb Blasters have to do better, Mark. You've got them on the counter, you've got their tackles pressing. That final ball has to find the target, especially players in the attacking position which have been dangerous like Kevin York, and the freshness of Jay Kudango should have been put to get good use. A big opportunity wasted for Caleb Blasters.
Another poor ball. Comfortably cut out again. How many times has Basim Rashid broken things up in that central area tonight? Vishnu. Miguel. He's got Rakib going outside him. It's a lovely ball. Can Rakib have quality? No, he can't. Neocha blocks again. It is a corner though, but East Bengal just trying to up the pressure a little bit now as we approach the final quarter of an hour.
Rakib on that occasion also can't get past the first man. Caleb Blasters have done well to block those crosses coming into the box. Even better when it's come to dealing with corners. It's the sixth corner for East Bengal. They still haven't been able to crack that Caleb Blasters defense open from open play.
Over it comes. Jay Gupta. He was getting nudged in the back. Nothing given.
Jay Gupta could not keep it on target, but they're trying to be a little smart and asking to see if Harish Kundu falls into his trap of a push, trying to blame that header off target on a push.
So drinks break in the second half. Still the same scoreline. No addition to that penalty from Ezejari after 10 minutes. Only half chances really in the second half, but Ezejari gets himself into good positions.
They've got into positions of maybe attacking, crosses coming in. This was probably the biggest chance. Ezejari could have been called offside, but as you said, as a habit, you got to be finishing those. Could have taken a touch, but this one didn't need a touch. Brilliant strike, was dipping as well, but luckily saw it was curling away.
Oscar Bruzon, a chance to give out some more instructions. Fallu has made a pretty good debut, to be fair. Hasn't looked out of place, to say that he hasn't played in a while. Umar Bar was the man who left the club, of course, having played the opening couple of games. More changes coming in. Will be Alas Throwerili. Nihal Sadish is coming on to add a little bit of pace. Marlon is coming on as well. Danish Farouk going off and Iban going off as well. So just one last throw really from David Katala to try and get something from this.
I think it's the right changes. Mark Tadish keeping with the ball in the middle of the park, clearly signs that you're getting tired. Nihal Sadish with his pace now will probably try to take on at either ends, either against Jay Gupta or against Rakib. So it'll be interesting to see what Nihal Sadish can do, and Marlon in the middle of the park will prove to be that creator in midfield.
Long ball over the top again. Miguel trying to get ahead of Falu. Just helps it back to our Sheikh. First time ball to Sandip. Falu probably had the best chance, that header that went just wide towards the end of the first half. Here's Marlon. First touch for the substitute, Marlon Trujillo, the German. Has featured in every game. It's his fourth appearance off the bench now. Jay. Katongo plays it out wide. This is Nihal. Away by Amorali.
Great influx of energy coming in from Kerala Blasters. Marlon coming in, controlling proceedings in the middle of the park. Jay Kutango finally involved. And Nihal Sadish, as ever, with his pace, trying to be dangerous down the wings.
Free kick going Kerala's way in the corner. East Bengal's way in the corner, sorry. Foul on Vishnu.
About 10 minutes plus added time left for Kerala Blasters, and the new changes that have come in to prove a danger against this East Bengal defence, who's been quite stern, with Anwar Ali leading them at the back.
Here's Bipin. Miguel. Forced crossfield again. He's got the ability to take on players. Vishnu, away by Falu. Basim Rashid. Suvik Chakrabarti. Bipin again. It's going to be replaced in a moment. Bipin, this might be his last action. Getting in behind. Can he come up with something positive here? Suvik Chakrabarti. Rakib. Just too high again. Sandip gets a header away by Nihal. Now Yocha. Long ball over the top again, but out of play. And then again, another East Bengal attack comes to nothing.
Kerala Blasters finally controlling the ball and just clearing their lines, but they need to find Jay. Even with those channel balls down the line, they need to find a way where they can find him. Kevin York has been dangerous. This has to be, that final ball into the attacking third has to be better. But in the meantime, you got Mahesh coming in now. Another new problem for Kerala Blasters to deal with.
Well, Mahesh has come on. Bipin has gone off. Jay Gupta. Basim Rashid.
East Bengal still trying to create those attacks, trying to find a way through.
Well, that's the next game in less than an hour's time from now. Bengaluru taking on Birmingham Supergiant as they look to continue their 100% record. Bengaluru will hope to use home advantage, having just about held on in their last match against Mohammedan to take 3 points. Intriguing clash. Sunil Chetri starts again for Bengaluru tonight. Jamie McLaren looking to add to his 7 goals. Here's Sandip. Gormipam. Ibn Das. Now Sandip. To play this one into the danger area. Perhaps he can get unchallenged though. Gathers and was looking to try and release that quickly, but couldn't do so. Here comes Mahesh. Not seen much of him this season. We know all about his talents though. Civic Chakrabarti.
That get something out of this game.
Jacob to center. There's a Jerry. Here's Miguel. Crowd's still getting a little anxious here. A free kick to East Bengal. Miguel with a chance to swing this one in. Can they conjure something from the set piece to give them some breathing space? There's a foul in the area on the Archer. Jay Gupta again coming forward. Referees just pulled that back. Kerala thought they'd got a chance to break forward there. Fallow and Miguel. Miguel has made a meal of that because Fallow just pushed him. And Harish Kundu will sort this one out, I'm sure. But, well, it's not been a bad-tempered game at all, but it's all a little bit unnecessary, such is the frustrations at the moment. There's a Jerry got involved as well. Miguel has stayed down. And this was the incident. Fallow went straight through him, in fairness. And the yellow card is out from Harish Kundu. That was a challenge. Fallow claiming that he got the ball, and then Miguel reacted. And Fallow did push him quite hard in the chest, to be fair, but he certainly didn't push him anywhere near his face. Shake of the head from the new man who goes into the book. I'm sure Miguel will be okay once he's had a bit of treatment. Still arguing between them, Fallow and Miguel. Still 1-0. There'll be a few nerves around in those spectators. And free kick. Anwar Ali over the free kick then. Edging towards the last few moments of the 90 plus added time. Anwar's ball perfect for Vishnu, nicely taken down, looking to take on Sandeep. Jay Gupta. Looking for Azajare, couldn't get over the ball though. Headed behind for a goal kick. it over the top for the run of Nihal. Oof, Prabsuk and Gill just managed to keep that in. Nihal pats him on the head because if he'd fallen the other way, he could have carried that outside the box there, the goalkeeper. Fortunately for him, he managed to swivel his body and make sure the ball stayed in play, or inside the area rather. Marlon has been spraying the balls around since he came on a few moments ago. Looking to try and impress his coach and maybe get a start in the next match. Nihal. Jacob to just trying to help him on his way. Inadvertently kept the ball in play. Vishnu. Nice bit of skill in the corner. Challenge from Ajsal. Wins it back. No foul. Ebindas. Floated in again. Prabsuk and spills it, but then gathers. Foul by Jay on the goalkeeper. Falu was in there as well. Good ball in, Ebindas. Did well under pressure there from Jay Katongo. Yeah, just had the arm across his neck, which is why Harish Kundu gave the free kick. Good save pair of hands from the former Kerala Blasters keeper. Seeing his new side looking to hang on here. There will be 6 minutes added time to come in just a moment. Sandeep's header. Basim Rashid tussling away still in that central area. Ebindas. Confirmation of the added time. Falu has been pushed forward now, as you can see. They need to provide him with some service. He's got a corner. Miguel has gone down injured with a bit of cramp here. Oh, the magic spray for Miguel. Well, he's played his part tonight, Miguel. Put himself around, and I'm surprised he's got a bit of cramp. But you can see those fans just a little nervous at the moment, knowing that one slight error, one slight mistake at the back could cost them, and they've got a corner to defend here. Ebindas once again will take it. Third corner of the game for the Blasters. That's a delivery, and a free header from Ajsal, and Kerala have levelled into stoppage time. And what a time to get your first Indian Super League goal. Is that the goal that gives Kerala their first point of the season? We said it could be a set piece. East Bengal have switched off, and Ajsa with a virtually free header past Prabsuk and Gill.
His zone. He's trying that again, and this time he gets on the solution.
Delighted to get the goal. Scored 7 in 11 games for Calicut in the Super League Kerala this season. Scored against Sadiva Delhi in the Durand Cup a couple of seasons ago. And East Bengal really paying for not capitalising on plenty of possession and really half chances. And well, Oscar Bruiser won't be happy to have conceded so late, but they have a corner of their own now, which Bengal will take.
भाई लाइक करो, कमेंट करो भाई, शेयर करो यार, सब्सक्राइब कर दो भाई यार.
This is where
मैच खत्म होने वाला है भाई यार.
Kerala now need to focus. Floats it again. Whole crowd of players. Jake Gupta was in there. Falu just prevents it from going for another corner. Kevin Yoke can't keep the ball in play. Hormipam away. There's Jackson. Forced all the way back to Prabsuk and Gill.
Kerala Blasters at this point will have their tails up and hope that they can just get a winner here somehow. Great header coming in from Atsal inside the 6-yard box. Now Kerala Blasters and Atsal will also think that probably they can make a way into this game, probably hope towards getting all 3 points. 2 minutes of sorts left in this game.
Well, it'll almost feel like a win. You feel, having trailed for so long in the game, to get back in it in stoppage time could just be the kickstart maybe they need for David Catalo's side. Falu's back in defensive role again now. They're having pushed forward earlier. Perhaps looking out of his goal to try and launch this forward. Is there one last chance maybe for East Bengal? Falu's there again. He's not looked out of place tonight, that's for sure. There's a player down, a Blasters player down with cramp, but play continues. That's Imran looking for Mahesh. Ezajare comes across, left a boot in there. Ezajare, that'll be a free kick to the Kerala Blasters. There's Eben Das that's down with cramp in the middle. One or two players cramping up at the moment. But all credit really, Robin, to the Blasters for keeping on going. I know the goal came from a set piece, but at least they've shown the resilience to carry on. And the fact that they restricted East Bengal just to that one goal has really helped them.
Oh, absolutely. They'll be very happy with the effort that all the boys have put in. Defensive line with the likes of Falu in the middle doing ever so well. Eben Das, he's tried to move the ball around as much as he can to his abilities. And now, if this scoreline stays the same, they'll probably also look to gain something, some positive out of this game.
Kerala are going to make a change. Eben Das
भाई लाइक करो, सब्सक्राइब कर दो
with the
यार.
cramp. Freddie will just come on for the final moments just to fill that gap. To put himself around tonight, Eben Das. All these younger players, of course, playing for just a little bit of pride at wearing the shirt. It's Hormipam that's down injured as well inside the box. Well, we said they were looking nervous at 1-0, and that's been proven. They'll be bitterly disappointed, East Bengal. It will be, could be a second draw in a row after that 0-0 with Goa 9 days ago.
And as we spoke earlier, Mark, the brilliant start that East Bengal had with wins underneath their belt, and then the loss, then the draw, and then another draw. That win seems to be evading them, especially now that they've conceded so late into the game. Oscar Bruce on, and East Bengal will be gutted that they haven't collected all 3 points. And now it comes down to even the chances. If you think of it, they haven't created really too much in comparison to Kerala Blasters. If you look at both the shots, 8 and 7 between both these teams. East Bengal having one shot more than Kerala Blasters, but just that one penalty that's been on target for them.
Yeah, Ezajare scored the penalty, but has had very few chances. He's had one chance that he missed. Shahif has come on for Hormipam. Eben Das has gone off as well. Freddie coming on. We've already played nearly 2 minutes over the 6. Is there a last chance for someone to try and get a winner? Headed on by Marlon. Kevin Yoke, Marlon. He's got Nihal outside him. It's a good ball to Nihal. Away by Amorali. Well, not the result, as we said, that East Bengal wanted, but this will stop the rot for the Kerala Blasters. It's not the win that they so crave, but they look like they're going to prevent losing 5 games in a row, thanks to that late goal from Adsal. Pabsukan Gill launches it long. Kevin Yoke, who's covered a lot of ground tonight, still running. Shahif under pressure from Ezajari. Guided all the way back to our shaking goal.
This draw, Mark, also means that Kerala Blasters get the first points on the board. They'll be happy to collect a draw on the road, if you want to call it that.
Well, it is a draw for the Blasters, having fallen behind to that Ezajari penalty in the first half. They know how disappointing that is, having not held on to the lead, but as we said, 1-0 is always very fragile. Mohammed Adsal getting the equalising goal in the 92nd minute. Full time, East Bengal 1, the Kerala Blasters 1.